All right then. Hi, this is the Becoming Great podcast, a podcast where me and my good buddy Eric are learning about how to build a business and how to build ourselves so that we can become better leaders and role models and many other things. And I'm here, as I said, with Eric Bergman, the founder of Great. And I would say that, except for being what I think is a very strong leader, very smart at business, and a good friend of mine, I would say that Eric's strongest suits are his lifestyle choices. And by that I mean he had chosen to live in a sunny country, Malta, with a beautiful and very kind fiancée that is making a constant never-ending stream of date balls that she lets me eat whenever I visit Eric in Malta. Well played, Eric. And good morning.
Thank you. And for anyone who's curious what date balls is, it's a little chocolate ball made with dates that Emil is crazy about and that Johanna makes every time he's coming over. And it's more for her than for him because she loves to bake.
It's how you train a dog, right? And me.
Yeah, you get them to come over and just sit, be quiet. Yo, who's a good boy?
I'm a good boy.
Yes, and I'm here with Emil, we've been practicing this with how to introduce each other in a way that it sounds honest and fair and not preparing anything. So I'm just thinking about what's the best way to describe him right now. And I think of Emil as one of the best humans that I've ever met. And I'll share a teeny tiny little story about yesterday to give you some perspective. So I'm talking to Emil in the morning. And he tells me, I think that my car has been stolen. And I'm a little bit distracted by that. And yeah, his car was in fact stolen. So he ends up chasing it all day. He managed to figure out who actually stole it because he rented it out through some service. And by the end of the day, he managed to get the car back. And this 26-year-old guy had stolen it. And so what does Emil do? What does the best person in the world do in a situation like this? Well, my guess is that the best person would talk to the guy who stole it, try to understand him, try to see what happens, see if he can help him somehow and buy him dinner. What did Emil do? Just that. And to me that says so much about him as a person, and I couldn't stop smiling when he told me this. And yeah, that's why I love doing these kind of podcasts and just being around him. He's crazy in the best kind of way.
Thank you. And I think there was, for me at least, a nice life lesson there yesterday. Because the guy... I managed to get a hold of his dad. And the guy had a lot of anxiety because he had obviously done something wrong. So he didn't dare to come back with a car because of all the anxiety. And I talked with his dad on the phone, and he seemed like kind of a harsh person. So I realized probably no one, when he had made a mistake, have ever, been kind to him and tried to understand him. So I sat down and we talked for a long time, and he had a lot of different problems, and I just listened to him and asked him many questions, and we had some dinner. And afterwards he said something that at least hit me. He said that none of my friends have ever been as nice as you have been to me. And I think, because I could have been angry and I could have been trying to maximize the amount of pay that he would have had to pay me for being he was 2 days late with the car. But at the same time, I think it would be a bigger gift to give, to show that someone can actually treat you nice even though you have made a mistake like that.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. And I think you're totally right. Your impact of the world doing something like that is probably huge. I mean, you're changing his perspective of what it means to make a mistake, I would say. That's what I believe.
And I will still make him pay the extra rent for having the car too long, because I think it's also important that he learns from the mistake, and I show him that, yeah, I am disappointed that you took my car for 2 extra days. So he had to stay in the responsibility for that, but at the same time do it in a loving way where I show that I care about him.
Yeah, he still has to deal with the consequences as a thing. Well, he did something and you can't really get out of it too easily.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. I guess this is what being a parent is going to be like one day.
Yeah, you get to start practicing with a 20-something-year-old. That's a good start.
Start with car thieves, then babies.
I think car thieves are easier than babies. At least they listen.
All right, that was a bit of a sidetrack, because today we want to talk about, well, I want to share one of the most influential books to me that I have ever read in my entire life. This book has made a huge impact on the way that I see the world, and in this book is actually one of my true heroes. And the name of this book is Donald Duck and His Friends. I think Donald Duck is a great role model, but my favorite character in this book, in Swedish he's called Alexander Lucas, in English apparently he's called Gladstone Gander. And for those of you who are not Donald Duck enthusiasts like I am, he's this guy his whole thing is that he's lucky, right? If he needs money, he just reaches out his hand and some dollar bill lands in it. Great life, and he just expects it to go that way. I think he has a great outlook on life, and normally I think when running a business, life can be a little bit like being Donald Duck. Whatever you do, stuff just goes into the pooper. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong somehow, and you will have to sort it. You will get pissed off, and many times you won't get the girl. But sometimes life is like being Gladstone Gander. Things just goes your way. Eric, could you explain what I mean by this metaphor?
I think that you're touching upon the last 4, 5, 6 weeks of the story of Great, where more things have happened than probably combined in many ways, where we just been lucky. Things have just fallen our way. Things that we thought were going to be really, really hard, like sorting out finances, just turned out to be, hey, this is easy. We can do it this and this and this way. And mainly hiring this CPO role that I was devastated about, 2 months ago, or we have no solution.
Quick background story there. What was the problem?
Yeah, so we were supposed to hire this, nice catch. We were supposed to hire this leader role who would start building the product of Great. And for, 8 months, I had the perfect candidate in mind, and he backed out. And I was like, ugh. And then, like in Aladdin, you kind of rub the little lamp and then the genie comes out. Like that, just from nowhere. Joachim, this new guy who we just hired, popped out into the world. And it just happened. I was expecting to chase someone for 8 months and then boom, he was a perfect candidate. So now we've actually hired him.
I would say though that it's a little bit over humble. I'm not sure if that is the right word to say that there was a magic lamp, because he actually found us through this podcast, right? Or via your sharing on social media.
Yeah, he found us or his girlfriend found us through my crazy adventures on Facebook. Me starting a Facebook group without having any idea what to do with it in like January. And his girlfriend is a friend of mine, and she felt, hey, he should be in this group. And then he started to be super engaged in the group, and we started talking that way. So it kind of came from nowhere. I had no plan with starting that group, had nothing to do with my ambition of finding someone to fill this role.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it came from rubbing a lamp, but I just rubbed a lot of lamps without really knowing why.
Yeah. And to be clear, this could have been a huge hustle, right? What would have life looked like if you would have been Donald Duck in this situation?
I would have been Donald Duck. Yes, I felt like Donald Duck in the first steps. Like, I've prepared this, I've done my homework, I've really found a great guy, and then someone just sneaks off with him in the last minute, or let's say it's the girl in the, let's say it's what's Kaisa, whatever her name is, the girl that Donald Duck is always in love with. She just sneaks off by the end of it, like
with Gladstone.
Yeah, with Gladstone. And I was expecting if we would have filled this role before the end of the year, I would have been very happy. That was kind of my main intention with this year, even, to find the perfect candidate for this role, because I think it's so essential. So I was going to spend most of my time the rest of this year. I was expecting to either directly or indirectly do things to find this person. And now suddenly we found him, and we've done a very thorough recruitment process, and he started 2 days ago. So I'm super happy. We're like 6-7 months ahead of schedule with that, and that never happens.
That's 6 months of work that you can put on something else. That's huge when building a company. And
I'm gonna read so much Donald Duck magazines now.
Yeah. And this recruitment process of Joachim, it was very interesting because we took a completely different kind of approach that I think few companies are doing. And I think Joachim himself was shocked, and he felt very connected to this organization, right? When he said, if I'm not getting this job, I'm gonna miss you guys. Because our recruitment process was so different. And I think there's a lot of things to learn from it. And if you are interested in that, I think 2 episodes from now, we're gonna do a whole episode about this very special kind of recruitment process, where Joachim is going to be in the podcast, most likely.
I love how you're sending cliffhangers about the future. So now we need to commit to that. We've never committed to what we're going to do in the future before. So and I can also say that this is the best episode about recruitment that you've ever heard anyone record ever. No promises. No. I'm not overselling it. I promise.
No. And after that, we're having an episode about overselling. We have mastered that skill. But now, with 6 months to spare, after reading some Donald Duck magazines, obviously, then Joachim, and I guess you too at some extent, are gonna have more time to build a product. Because we already got started a little bit now because of our lucky progress. Because Joachim can build it. Now, where are we with the product?
Okay, so I'll give a teeny tiny insight to the best recruitment episode ever that comes 2 weeks from now. That one of the things that we did that was different was that we did a quite large work test, which you don't usually do. So for 3 weeks, he was working for us to build a demo of the product. And that was before he got hired. He didn't even get paid for it. He just believed in our cause and was willing to do it that way. And we call this the MVP, which stands for Minimum Viable Product, which is basically the smallest thing you can do to test if something works if you're building a business. And he built this together with, he built the roadmap, the blueprint, the plan for this together with 2 people from the team. And this was something I was hoping we would have done by the end of the year also, and now we will have it done by July. So they're actually starting now to build the first version of our commercial product. And hopefully we'll start generating some kind of revenues with this already in July. So that's a very big step happening. And once again, I would be happy if that was by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's a huge head start. 6 extra months.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm really happy with that, and I'm really happy with. Once again, I thought that I was gonna need to play a very important role in building that, because I didn't think that we would have someone in, meaning that I would have far less time to read Donald Duck magazines or other important stuff. and now it's just happening, and it's. I just love the feeling of things just happening, and I can just go to meetings like, wow, you've done so many things since last time. Wow, you've done such a good job with this. Wow. And just seeing how, I mentioned this in, I don't know, a bunch of episodes ago, but when it feels like there is an organism, that great is now something, it's a life on its own. Like in the beginning, I was the only life of great. If I didn't do things, nothing happened. but we're now reached a point where if I step away and maybe pour a little water on every now and then, it will still grow into this amazing organism that brings to life. And this is another stepping stone in there where I feel that things are happening automatically, and that's such a cool feeling.
So sorry for coughing. I got feedback on that from a woman. No coughing. Okay, so
I love how you at least so you got the attention.
Yeah.
And then when people were waiting for you to say something smart, you're like, gotcha. So I'm not sorry for coughing because that was part of my joke.
That was a beautiful cough. Now, you've been frustrated for a couple of months now, in a sense that we haven't started to build any kind of product. So there has been talking about great, but we don't have anything out there. And we've been talking about having 4 legs to this organization. And now we started to build one product. Do you feel satisfied that we at least started one, or do you still feel frustrated and eager that we haven't started a charity product or the other products?
It's a good feeling. A good question. Let me feel into that for a bit. I don't feel frustrated. I feel very happy with where we are right now, and I like looking this as a very, very long-term thing. That 50 years from now, this is gonna be so big and so amazing and do so much difference. And then I'm totally fine with the charity product not being built. Hopefully, we'll start sometime next year. I don't see us starting before then, and I'm fine with that. And an important part there is going to be similar to this. So let's say we needed someone to come in to take charge of building the commercial product, and that's a leader person, and it's kind of an entrepreneurial person that will take a lot of ownership of everything happening there.
And the commercial product, for you that might be new to this, is a casino affiliation product. So like a hotel.com for charity. Casino, I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the short version. We need to get better at knowing which episode is what, so we could kind of say, listen to this episode if you want to know more.
Yes.
So listen to all the episodes, and one of them will tell you. So, and if you find it, you'll get a gold star. Tweak it a little better. Regardless. The way I see it is that we needed one person to be in charge of building the commercial product, and we're going to need one person to be in charge of building the charity product. That's the way I see it right now. It might not end up that way. So it will be a similar situation here, that once we find the perfect person to build it, then, and he or she gets started, that will be a good time to do it.
Right.
And hopefully we will, if I'm just saying something off the top of my head and not making any commitments, I see this starting a year from now. And that's when we'll start doing something really good with it. But before then, we'll focus on actually creating a first good commercial product in this that can actually be the engine of fueling everything else. And just focusing on creating one good thing at a time rather than trying to start 2 big projects simultaneously.
Right, because this will almost be 2 different companies, but they help each other.
Yeah.
And they make each other
definitely.
better.
They might have 2 completely unique organizations below them that are in charge of building each thing.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
Right. So during this last month, since our last update, have your perception or your idea about how to build great changed somehow? Is there something you want to do now that you didn't want to do before, and vice versa?
Yeah, at least the plan has changed in many ways. So I don't think that I've ever been confident exactly how to do anything. At the same time, I always feel confident about something. So the way this looked in my head before was that I was certain that we're going to have the 4 pillars of great, which is the episode of the podcast 4 pillars of great, I think. Number 5, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. Listen to all episodes. And I've started challenging that okay, we might not be the best way of doing 4 pillars or 4 legs in this business, because whatever we do, it will, if we do one, that will obviously be a lot better than if we try and do 4 things equally good. So at the moment, I'm at a stage where I like to have this discussion with our team, and we'll going to talk a lot about this in Stockholm when we're meeting up by the end of the summer, I think. But taking the strategic decision, what do we want to focus on? So the commercial thing we have to focus on, because if we don't do that, then we will not be able to do anything else. But then what are the other different three? Do we want to build a charity product? Do we want to build a life school kind of project, what we've been talking about? And do we want to build a thing that helps organizations to grow? Which are three things that I believe are all very cool and very important. That comes with a cost, obviously, of time.
Yeah. We both read a book that we thought was very useful this month. And no, it's not another Donald Duck trickery thing. This is a real book that we read that is called 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And I think or at least I picked up 3 or 4 key concepts that will be very important in how we take decisions in building this company. And it just happens to be that the next episode we do of this podcast is going to be all about marketing and what we have learned from that book and our own experiences and how we will use that in real life building a company. So the first key concept is that, well, one of the 4, it's not the biggest one. One of the 4 is that if you try to do too many things, that will undermine everything that you do. So it's a strong thing to be specialized in a way. And right now, great is very broad. And the 3-4 other key concepts, they will be revealed in the next week's episode.
You're killing it at cliffhanging today. I feel like we should just... But if you call now, you will get 3 extra episodes for free. Yeah, you're nailing it. Yeah, and that book has been a big part of me questioning these strategic decisions then. That is like, okay, I might be completely wrong here and totally underestimating the challenges that will come with. And yeah, I very easily fall in love with ideas, and that means that I kind of have to break up with some of them every now and then, because I can't be too polyamorous in my ideas. I can't have too many idea relationships. Yeah, but there's a lot of things going on with Great, and more things happening that I had anticipated to happen quicker.
And something excited for our staff as well that you mentioned now is that we're planning for everyone to come together and meet each other for the first time, which is a really fun thing in a remote organization. I have never met Derek, I've never met Joachim, so Derek is coming from Florida. So how important do you think it is to... that's a boring question. The answer is, it's important. What are the pros and cons of meeting each other in real life when building a remote organization?
To be honest, I don't know if it's important. So to actually answer the question you didn't ask because you felt it was a bad question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is important to meet in person. I think it can have benefits, but I'm not sure if it's actually worth it. So everyone who talks about running a remote organization says it's very important that you meet in person every now and then. To me, that's just theory. I haven't tried that. I haven't tried the other things. So to me, it makes sense that it adds value. At the same time, I felt that we've cooperated very well in this team without meeting. I'm very happy with the recruitment of Joachim so far, and I haven't met him. So personally, I think that it might be not as necessary or not as important. At the same time, I enjoy it and I want to try it and I want to see afterwards how much value I get from it. So it might not be important.
And do you want to know the solution? Watch episode 32 of the...
Yeah, or call number 995-222-55 and buy your own time machine.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's going to be exciting regardless. So we set a date for that and start planning for that. Our original plan was to go to Uganda and actually see some of the things that we're doing. And then me personally felt super overwhelmed about planning that and getting some value out of that. So like, hey, what's the easiest thing we can do and still hang out? Let's go to Stockholm. So that's where we will be.
Yeah, I
Nice.
think
Now everyone didn't see this, but Emil actually muted his mic before he coughed, so he's picking up. So thank you, listeners, for the feedback.
it's all love for you guys. Now, I'm curious because I think maybe the last month left it, we talked about that you had tried social media for the whole year, going bonkers and bananas, just trying everything, and you couldn't find some way that you liked to do it. And now I know you're very active again. So what have changed in the way you do social media that allows you to actually enjoy that process?
Yeah, so to start with, I felt that I want to be active in social media because I believe that it's something that benefits great, and it benefits what we want to achieve in various ways. And there could be one place for people
So can I ask, how is it benefiting great? The main things. What is the main? Because I'm thinking if you're an 18-year-old and you run your own company and you think, should I bother? Because social media takes a lot of time, right? How could it benefit their company?
Okay, so I think the main thing about this is trust. And building an organization is basically all about trust. Building any relationship is all about trust. And if a company is just a company with a logo, then it's very hard to trust a logo. There's no face beyond it. But if a company has a face, someone you know, someone you can hold accountable, someone who says, I'm doing this, not someone else, then I believe that it's much, much easier to have a relationship with this company and to trust whatever they're doing. And my intention is to be the face of this. Because especially in the gambling industry, there are no faces on anything. No one wants to put their face on that, so I really want to do this here because I think it adds value. And the more my face is then a way you can actually connect to it, talk to it on social media, see my thoughts, hear me talk about anything from business to relationships to sadness, anger, grief, and other feelings. Personally, I believe that helps to trust me and simultaneously then trust great.
So it's easier to trust a person that is real than trusting something abstract as a company.
Yeah, that's my thought at least. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm guessing that's true. Okay. I have much easier time trusting a person than a company.
Again, I imagine being 18 and listening to this, and you said the most important thing when building a company is trust. I'm not sure I understand exactly what you mean by that, and if that even is true. What about having good prices or good product or having customers or whatever?
So let's take a good product then. Then a good product is basically trust. If you see a pair of headphones from a brand you've never heard of, you're probably going to assume that they are bad. But if you trust in the company, you trust that they do good things, then you will trust the product and believe it is a good product. And at the end of the day in business, it's actually more about what you believe about the product than what's actually true. So if you have two pairs of headphones, one of them is super good, one of them is super crappy, but you think that the super crappy ones are better, you're going to buy the super crappy ones. And you're never even going to know that the other ones were really good because you're never going to buy them. But with trust and knowing this product or knowing who is behind this company, then it's much more likely that you will trust it and buy it. Same thing goes for recruitment, or for that matter with prices. If you see something that has a low price, but there is no trust, your imagine is going to think it's a crappy product, because why would it be cheap if it wasn't bad? And the same thing goes. So I believe that it applies in pretty much every area of business and in life, that there is some sort of a trust that goes on between them. And if you can build that, everything else gets easier. Did that make sense?
Yeah, that made sense. So, and the way how are you building trust on social media then? Is the way to do it to be seen often to people? So there's a recognition, and because of the recognition, there's trust, or is it the quality or what you're saying? What is causing you to gain trust on social media?
Okay, so let's get back to your original question. What is different? What am I doing now that I didn't do before, and why am I doing this? I basically just answered the question you didn't ask. Why are you doing this? So what I started doing this year was that I believed in this trust idea and I wanted to find a way of building that. I didn't know how. So I tried social media in every way I can come up with. I tried to be on Twitter. I tried to do lots of things on LinkedIn. I tried to start Facebook groups. I started to doing things on Instagram that had nothing to do that I know about. I, for the first time, looked into Snapchat, which I still don't understand. And I tried all of these things, and my aim was to find something I enjoy. Because I believe that the key things to building that trust is continuity. If I do this over time, then people get a chance to get to know me and see what I care about and build trust towards me. And if I don't enjoy it, I will fail. I will not continue doing this. And the sad thing about this is that I didn't find anything that I actually enjoyed enough to keep doing. I did a lot of things for a week, maybe two, and I was like, this is not me. But what changed was just a couple of weeks ago when I felt like, okay, I could actually write pretty long descriptions on Instagram, focus on things that I really care about, and I can prepare them in advance and then post them. And I feel that I'm giving a lot of value doing this, and I'm also getting a lot of value through asking questions. And for the first time I felt like, hey, this is a way that I enjoy using social media, and it made sense. And then we started playing around with the camera and actually took a lot of really good pictures. So it was fun to post it together with good pictures. And for the first time, I found that I felt a balance between adding value, giving value, and enjoying the process. And that took me then 5 months to figure something out that I would enjoy. And now I've been doing this quite frequently for a couple of weeks at least. And it's worth mentioning that I used to hate Instagram. I think that Instagram is an evil machine in many ways that just creates unhappiness. But that's a whole other episode. Let's say episode 79. I don't know. We'll talk about that someday. The evilness of social media. But also the intelligence of it. So this is what shifted. That I actually found a way of doing this that I enjoy doing and sharing things that actually matter to me in a way that it doesn't take up my full day. So that's the main thing that shifted. I found a way of doing this that I enjoy and that I believe I will keep doing. Similar to podcasting now, that it's actually, we found a process of doing this where we enjoy it and we do it continuously.
And what you did is you binge create these posts, so you don't have to sit down and write something every single day, but you can still have continuity and activity in your...
Yeah. So basically what I've done is that I've written 25 posts or something of things that matter to me and plan for them to be able to publish at least once a week, so something happens. And I've prepared to take a lot of different photos that make sense to them.
Yeah.
And then I publish other things in between when something comes up and that actually feels relevant for the day. And those has been the key element for me has been to be able to plan it and not feeling forced that, oh, I haven't posted anything in a while, now I need to come up with something.
Yeah.
But instead preparing everything when I'm in a flow state of mind where things are just happening for me and it feels easy. Yeah. You've been experimenting quite a bit with social media now as well. What changed for you?
Yeah, I went from... Actually, you inspired me, because I was visiting Eric in Malta for 2 weeks. And during that time, we took a lot of pictures. And I haven't viewed myself as... I viewed myself as someone that looks much worse in pictures than what I think I look like in the mirror. So I haven't liked taking pictures because I never think I look good in them. So we had a strategy similar to the strategy of a virus. Because how a virus survives is that it makes billions of just completely random copies of itself. And then it hopes that something sticks and becomes a really awesome disease. And we did the same thing with photos. We took billions and billions of photos of each other. And lo and behold, a couple of them actually looked all right. One of them I have as my Facebook profile picture now, and I really like that picture of me. So then I got excited, and I made the first post on my social media in 6 months, I think. Yeah, I don't think I had posted anything in 6 months. And I kind of enjoyed it. So now I'm getting into the habit of just posting pictures of me, and I want to ease into finding a way with social media that works for me.
So what do you want to accomplish with social media? Why do you want it to work for you, since You want to do it for great, or you want to do it for something else?
Well, I wanna be able to. I want to do some kind of influencing, of course. If I read a book that I really like, or if I do something that I found useful for me, I want an opportunity to be able to share that. But most importantly, I think it's about building. I see in the future that it will be important for me to build my own brand, similar to what you are doing with Great, but just the brand of my name. And to get there, this is the first kind of basic step to get there.
Okay, so you see the future, this will be important. You're not quite sure how and why it will be important, but...
Yeah, so in the future, somewhere after a long run, a marathon, I have a brand name, right? And this is kind of like the warm-up before the race.
Okay, so this is kind of like learning math in school, but at least what the teachers believe is like, hey, you need to learn math because it's going to be important. And you want to buy into the idea that it's going to be important. You're not really, but in theory, you buy into the idea that you're going to have use for it somewhere down the line. So now you're studying math.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. But you're at least more convicted that you will use it than you will use math.
Well, the biggest change, though, I've seen in this month is that this is the first time I have ever enjoyed taking pictures. And it's one of the first time I actually really enjoyed posting things, because I like the pictures that I have posted.
Yeah, so that's the key thing in here. You're actually proud of what you're putting out there instead of...
And I got to borrow this, if you're watching this in video, this beautiful camera from a good friend that I have. His name is Eric. So I brought that to a coffee with some friends the other day and took some photos of them, and I enjoyed that too.
I think this is interesting. I had a coffee with an old friend yesterday, and he said that he wanted to start posting things on social media, and at the same time he felt it was something holding him back. It was too big of a barrier to cross to do that, and it feels like you've been going through a similar thing just recently. So what kind of tips would you give to him or someone else if he says, I want to start doing this, but I'm not sure how I will get going?
To me, the thing that worked was the virus strategy, right? So get a buddy, get a good camera, and take a lot of pictures. And I think, at least for me, when I found a couple of pictures on me that looked really good and that looked a lot better than any other previous picture of me, that felt good. So just do the smallest possible thing to get some kind of win.
I like that idea. Yeah, so basically go out, take tons and tons of pictures, look through them and found the ones you actually enjoy, instead of trying to capture one moment the first thing you do and you're just not going to make it. And then maybe you have 5, 10, 50 pictures that you enjoy, and suddenly it becomes easier to get going with it. And it becomes the binge kind of strategy as well that I mentioned, that preparing lots of posts, but in this case, kind of preparing lots of pictures.
Exactly. And we're running towards 40 minutes, and I think we are gonna do a whole episode about social media.
For sure.
Again, quite soon. So, is there something else you want to touch upon during this update before I ask you kind of what mistakes we have made? Is there something more you want to touch on?
I think that we've covered a lot of the things I wasn't planning for, and we've skipped a few that I was planning for. So cliffhanger, they will be in another episode. Listen to everything, all the time. Starting to feel that we're overdoing this a little bit. But yeah, let's jump to mistakes that we've done this month. And yeah, have you done any mistakes?
Yeah, and that is... haven't been as selective as I would like to be with kind of the people that I interact with. So I felt like this month I had been giving too much of my time away in to many people that I know not that well, that I have sort of a loose connection to. So I ended up having a lot of different phone calls, talking to people, having a lot of coffees, having a lot of I had a lot of kind of random dates as well, where I didn't check them too much before. I borrowed my car out to someone I didn't do much of a pre-check on, and that turned out as it did. So it's been almost like a shotgun strategy for me. I've been doing a lot of different things, and I kind of felt a lot of stress this month. I felt like I've been very busy but not that effective. So moving on into the next month, I would like to say no a lot more and be more selective with my time, kind of using a sniper rifle and do less things but the most important things. Because I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed because I'm not saying no.
So similar to what we spoke about in the previous episode,
Yes.
the one just before this one, about minimalism.
Yeah.
Saying no to more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Have you made any mistakes?
I mean, I feel like I've been this Gladstone Gander guy. Even if I made a mistake, things the gods of the universe just kissed me as a thank you, and it just turned out well. So no, I've been flawless this last month.
Yeah.
I'm gonna settle for that. I've probably done mistakes, but I've just been in such good flow that whatever I'm happening, it's just to tell one little thing. So a teeny tiny mistake that I did is that I walked home from my Thai boxing practice the other day, and I always take a right at a certain place through a shortcut. And this time I was so up in my head and I was confused, and I wasn't confused, I was just distracted. And I missed the shortcut. And I went forward, and after a while I realized, hey, I'm never here. And I missed the shortcut. Well, shit happens. Then I took the right and I went around, and when I came to where the shortcut usually come out, there was a big truck blocking it. So if I would have taken the shortcut, I would have had to turn back and go back. So I did a mistake, I missed my shortcut. But the world just loved me. So it's been, I think that explains my month pretty well. The mistakes I do, God has just forgiven them.
That is the Gladstone life, for sure.
Yes, I'm gonna keep this for the rest of my life now. So I'm just gonna be incredibly lucky.
But he would just assume this will last forever. This is just your life now. So I guess we see you in the update, August 2019, the luckiest month of the year episode.
Yeah, hopefully we'll start with July. That comes after June.
That's right. It doesn't matter. Things will be all right. Right.
You see, that's another mistake that God will just forgive and give you the luckiest month in the world as a thank you.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Nice talking with you.
We will. Nice talking to you. Thank you for today, my friend.
Oh yeah, and if you have any feedback for us about this podcast, any ideas, anything you would like to hear us talk more about, anything you liked, anything that you hate, and maybe especially feedback on our introductions, because we tried something different, like Eric mentioned. We tried to just say nice things about each other from the heart and be less playful but more real. So I'm very curious if did you feel like that felt weird and off, or did you liked what we were going for? Please send us an email. And I just want to mention as well that
where do they send the email?
podcast@great.com. Nice catch.
Nice.
And I want to mention as well that this woman wrote to me and said that she loved our podcast, and she said, I just want to let you know that I'm not gonna pester you about what I felt about this podcast. And it's not pestering. Like, it really helps us when someone writes and say that they like this kind of conversation. So if you have praise, we really read it, and it really gives us fuel.
Thank you for today. Let's end it there.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.